questions pulled up on one screen.
Okay, you got everything together?
And then had all the other screens open.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just go back and forth like, back.
Don't you just love having an iPhone now?
I guess.
You guess?
I guess.
Don't be a hater.
I guess.
iPhones are amazing.
Y'all annoying.
How are we annoying?
We was at dinner yesterday for Brenda's birthday, and Quera looks at me and Tracy on our phone. She gonna say, I just want to say, seeing these two sitting here with iPhones, it's just so good to see. So I was like, if you don't go to hell. I said, y'all bullied us into these iPhones talking about y'all couldn't name the group chat.
You couldn't because y'all had them raggedy ass green bubbles.
Go to hell. Expeditiously.
I will.
I almost choked on my damn Frappuccino.
Good.
God damn you.
Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. So you ready to get started, Shauna?
Let's go.
Okay. Well.
Of course your ass been recording.
Of course.
Makes me sick.
I told you I like to start on conversation.
Makes me sick.
How you know I'm recording?
Goddamn, because the red button is on.
Well, with that being said, welcome to this week's episode of Wine and Audacity, the podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Sicard, and I'm joined by one of my two favorite people in the world. How you feeling this week, Shauna?
I'm all right.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So before we get into this week's episode, we have a couple of house announcements. You know, how your mom used to, do before y'all sat down for Sunday family dinner. All right, niggas, I got some announcements.
I got something to say.
The South got something to say.
First of all, the South got something to say. That segment on the Essence Awards recently, dope as fuck.
Oh, what?
Dope as fuck.
I sent you the list.
I did.
So for those, if you don't know, apparently, and I discovered this last year, the Essence Awards, because we are officially in that age bracket now where we actually can watch and enjoy the Essence Festival in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Lord, in mid-30s. But apparently, Essence Festival is streaming on Hulu for free. So in case you can't make it to New Orleans.
I only missed Sunday night because I wasn't home.
Okay.
But I watched Friday night and Saturday night.
Okay.
Both were really good. I'm mad that I missed Sunday night because
Salt and Pepper was on Sunday night, weren't they?
Yeah, they did a women in hip hop segment, and it was Salt and Pepper, Trina, Eve, Remy. Yeah, it was a lot of female rappers. I'm mad. That's what I really want to say.
Spinderella finally they reunited with Spinderella on the stage. I saw a clip on Instagram.
I'm upset. So hopefully, I think maybe I can go back and watch it, even because it was live. So they should still have it streaming on there.
I believe that they did. So I want to go back.
And Meg was the headliner Sunday, so I got to go back and see my girl. You know, my fellow tall girls. Yes, sis.
I love Meg.
If I only had that body. Baby.
I know it ain't the Stallion.
Baby, snatch for the goats.
I love Meg Thee Stallion. I'm glad to see her back.
Yes.
After that Tory Lanez case and, her and Party broke up.
Angry midget.
We ain't got to get into that, but yeah. Yes.
He is. He's an angry midget.
Let's fuck Tory Lanez over here. Yeah. Anyway.
Fuck him.
Moving on from that.
He going on the list with Carlos and them.
Which I have been. I can't wait to go back to this list at the end of the year. The Wanda Pop fuck you list. If you want the context, we're not going to explain it. That's your cue to go back and listen to one of our previous episodes. Because one, I don't remember which episode it was that we started it. Mm-hmm. And two, go ahead and get you a laugh or two in. Because that fuck you list got about 5 or 6 people or at this point, people or things on there. Because it ain't just people on there.
Absolutely.
But so back to our, I guess, big announcement, or one of our big announcements for this episode. So as y'all have heard or have not been hearing, Key has been gone for several weeks now.
Yes.
We still talk to Key pretty much regularly, several times a week, but she hasn't been on the podcast because sis be busy, and we say that every episode.
Yeah.
But as it turns out, she's actually really, really busy, excuse me, and really, really, really swamped with stuff at home. So we had a conversation, and Key has decided to step away from the podcast regularly. She's still a part of, I almost knocked the damn microphone over. Pay me no mind, y'all. Y'all know I'm clumsy. Well, Shauna knows I'm clumsy.
As fuck.
It could have been worse. But anyway, like I was saying, Key has decided to step away from the podcast just because of scheduling conflict. She has a lot going on and can't manage the podcast in addition to what she has going on. But all is well. me and Shauna are trying to think of a way to get her to come on for a one-off episode here and there. Mm-hmm. She has not said that she wasn't interested in recording ever again. She just can't.
She just had to take a step back.
Yeah.
Life be lifing.
It does.
Her presence is definitely missed.
It is.
But it's our hope that it's not a permanent thing.
Yeah.
So, ain't no animosity, ain't no nothing, because this ain't no podcast shit. We real life friends. We real life family.
Yeah.
We gonna love each other, support each other, regardless of whatever is going on.
Yeah.
So that's what we gonna do. We gonna support our sis, and hopefully, maybe one day she can step back in. But
I will say
for
this.
the time being,
I will say this though, Key Hive. If y'all want your girl back, drop us an email or at askwandapod@gmail.com. That's ASKWANDAPOD@gmail.com. So we can forward the message along, because y'all might be able to convince her to come back. I don't think we had the power to, but if she knows she got some fan mail, people looking forward to hearing her voice, she might pop up sooner than later.
That's very true.
I mean,
that is very true. So
don't her sister Dominique listen to this?
She does.
Hey, Dominique. Hey, Dominique's coworkers. In case y'all listen to this, like she told us she listened in the office. Hey, Dominique and Dominique's coworkers. So, Dominique, I need your help to get your sister back on the podcast regularly. I know she be busy and she be doing stuff, but work your sisterly magic and. Darius. Hey, Darius. I know you listening too. Work your nephewly. That's not even a word. Nephewly.
That's her nephew-son.
Nephew-son magic, and convince our lovely Key, the president of the Laid Edges Committee and the Key Hive, to come on back to the podcast. Again, not regularly, because, she got stuff going on, but every once in a while.
Don't go harassing her, though, y'all.
Look, because that'll make it worse.
Don't go harassing her.
She gonna cuss us out. Because,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But no, it's all in fun and jokes, but we love you, Key.
Love you, Key.
Hope you do get to come back soon. But until then, baby, we gonna hold this thing down. P.O.P. hold it down.
Oh, Jesus. I'm legally blind.
Barely.
P.O.P. hold it down. I love you, mama.
I can't stand you. So in the keeping with the announcements of, I actually went and checked our email because, sis been slipping because I be busy too.
When was the last time? No, okay.
Yeah, my business.
We say every episode that Sean is going to check the email, the AskWandaPod email at gmail.com. I go spell it again because I did it already. But I say at the end of every episode that Shauna checks the email. She's like, yeah, I check it. She ain't checked that email in months.
I do be checking, but what had happened was... In my defense, I work full time.
Nigga, we all work full time.
I got a full-time child in here who keep eating all my goddamn food.
Yeah, I just talked to Trey about
and a puppy
stuff. Yeah, nigga,
and
it's
I'm
on your phone.
You
don't have to go to the. You have to go to the post office.
I be forgetting, man.
But anyway, so we apparently got some fan mail. We've gotten fan mail before, but I wanted to read this one because this was a good one. Hopefully. To help us with our mission of getting Key back regularly. But go ahead, Shauna. What's the comment?
Coincidentally, the person who sent us this email name is Keys. Keys.
You can't spell for shit.
Shut your ass up. I fumbled a little bit, damn it. I'm hungry. So I thought that was really funny. Mm-hmm. I felt like it was a sign. Mm-hmm. But anyway, this person sent us an email and they said...
Do you want to say when it was sent?
Go to hell. God damn it, I forgot. It was sent in April, apparently. I didn't see it.
We ain't gonna say what day it is. We ain't gonna say what date it is today that we're recording this.
Go to hell.
Go ahead, Shauna. What's the comment?
Damn it.
Go ahead and read it, nigga.
It says, I just started listening to your pod randomly and I was loving what I was hearing. Your latest episode was the greatest one so far. To hear you guys speak about friendship truly reminded me of my really close friends. I loved your chemistry and your guest was like icing on the cake. I couldn't stop laughing. Please say that he is a regular. That I believe they were talking about Aaron, since that's the only other he we've had on the show.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want this to go to his head. We're going to cut this out.
Because you know he's grinning right now because he got mentioned.
Of course.
Oh, hell.
And they said, I couldn't stop laughing. Please say that he is a regular. I really enjoyed myself listening to your pod. Please keep up the great content. I want to be a part of the Edge Control or the Key Hive. Thank you so much, guys.
Dominique, work your magic. That's all I'm saying.
But this person actually sent a second email too.
Okay. What did it say?
And the second email was
this one sent back in April too?
Shut up. Shut up.
I'm asking the pertinent
It's a
question.
possibility. So the second email is from the same person, and it says, I love the podcast. Can you get Aaron and Ron on the podcast at the same time?
Child.
Listen, that's going to be a 3-parter.
That's going to have to be.
Them two on the day going to show together. That's going to be a 3-parter. Because, baby,
we love you, Aaron.
They're going to be feeding off each other.
You be talking.
And this is going to be funny.
We had to keep the liquor from him that day.
Yup.
We got to.
So then they say, I believe that would be gold. Please make this happen. This part is amazing. I have recommended it to all my friends. Keep up the content. Love y'all.
Well, thank you, Keys.
We appreciate you, Keys. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry we just getting back to your email. I said life be life, and damn it.
For 3 months.
But thank you. Keep listening. I'm going to act like I don't hear him talking to me in the background.
You don't hear me talking?
You ain't going to keep calling me out, goddamn it.
You the one said you was going to check the shit.
I said my bad.
Okay. You done?
Again, thank you, Keys.
Thank you. No, for real though. Thank you, Keys. We really appreciate the feedback. And I think Shauna and I have had this conversation offline where we basically said that the feedback for us lets us know that we're doing a good job and that what we're doing is resonating with people. We are, even though we've been at this now for, I guess, 7 months podcasting.
8, yeah.
Yeah. The idea was conceived a year ago, almost a year ago. And the feedback lets us know that what we're doing is resonating with people. It's real interesting to see, like, we can't see in real time, like, people listening to the podcast because we're not live.
We just get people reactions. I get text messages and phone calls like, yo, Shauna, what the fuck? I was like, what'd I do? Because a lot of times
she be saying stuff and don't be remembering what she's saying because she crazy.
And I listen to the podcast every week just like everybody else do.
So do I.
And to hear the feedback and then to listen to myself say the stuff that I say, I was like, now what the hell? I said that.
You gotta know she ain't got no damn sense.
I don't, not a lick of it. Not a lick, and I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I say what I say, and I don't care who don't like it.
Well, but yeah, but basically, the feedback for us, it lets us know that we're doing a good job. Like, we are a literal upstart. We don't have a big podcast network behind us yet, speaking into existence. Hopefully we will at some point, but we don't have a corporation behind us. We are a homegrown, do-it-ourselves podcast recording at somebody's dining room table. Some weeks it might be mine, some weeks it might be Shauna's. Hell, maybe one week we'll be recording from the beach, getting sunburned, hot as shit, with sand all in the equipment, but I won't make no promises about that. So, but yeah, thank y'all for just the feedback. Thank you for letting us know that you're checking this out. Thank you for letting us know that y'all are, you're listening and you're enjoying what you hear.
We really appreciate it. And y'all don't know how many days y'all done brought a smile on my daggone face with y'all feedback. It made me laugh or whatever, cry tears, joy, or whatever. This shit is fun for me.
It is fun, but I think, fun. Like I said to you, I think one of our strong suits about this project is we have genuine friendships, and I'm not saying that a lot of other podcasts don't, but because again we've known each other all for 3 decades or going beyond at this point, our relationships. It's a strong selling point or a strong basis as to how our chemistry is the way it is in the recording, and it just shines through in the recording. Because I can say, if y'all were to ever see us in person or see us interacting in person, it's even worse because it's no filters and we're not filtering what we say.
Not a one.
So, yeah. So you ready to move into this week's topic?
I am ready to move into this week's topic.
Okay.
So this week's topic is what?
We don't have no topic this week, y'all. So look, I ain't gonna lie. Like Shauna said, I was say like Keith said, I'm cool, I'm great, I'm cool, I'm straight, I'm chilling. Shout out. No, but like Shauna said, life be life and stuff be going on.
It do.
We have several topics in the queue that we have like to discuss tentatively.
Yes.
But it's a lot of work to actually do the research and pull data and, actually sit down and generate a script. And nigga, I've been busy. I ain't had time to do nothing. 4th of July came and went. That kicked my ass as I was out. I finally did beat the damn bomb and that thing killed my ass.
I can't wait to go and do that. I can't wait.
If you aren't in, I think they're in DC, Atlanta, and I think, is it Philly or New York? But anyway, Beat the Bomb is like, it's like an escape room of sorts. It's like an immersive video game escape room situation. It was real fun, but I did it with my cousins. And that thing beat my ass.
Beat
I was
his
in
ass.
there. I was in there army crawling under lasers and playing human tic-tac-toe.
Oh, God, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for
digital
that.
fireballs. I'm fat. Okay, I can admit that. I'm sexy, but bitch, I'm fat. You trying to get my thick ass in that tight ass Kevlar Tyvek suit on the ground, army crawling, breathing heavy. I couldn't lift my leg up high enough to go over the laser. See? But so yeah, I said
My poor friend.
I said all that. I was sweating my ass. There wasn't no fucking ventilation in them rooms. But I said all that to say we don't have no topic this week. So what we gonna do is we gonna focus on some stories.
Some stories.
Some stories.
I have come across some shit.
But I also want to switch it up this week. I actually have a story that I want to tell Shauna that I came across that had me clutching the pearls that I don't wear.
Not clutching the imaginary pearls.
The imaginary pearls, my nigga. The imaginary pearls. Hey, Trey. Go ahead, Trey. Shauna's son, Trey. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, Trey. Yeah. Can I read my story first?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, like I said, we are going to be focusing on stories this week. Are we going to do Q&A or are we going to save that for next week?
We're going to save Q&A for next week.
Okay, so it's just stories.
It's just stories.
Just some stories, like the stories. The stories. Okay, so here's the story I found online. It was
Insert Young and the Restless music.
doom, 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 doom. Okay. What is you in there?
Making a damn mess. Damn teenagers.
These are actual side effects. This is not our soundboard.
Nope. Check on your friends with teenagers. We are not okay.
Because they eating y'all asses out of house and home. It's the summertime.
We are not okay.
They eating everything in y'all houses.
Sorry.
You fine, Trey.
Send out.
Anyway, you ready from this for this story?
Yeah, because this is going to be a change. You telling the story instead of me.
I know, right?
This is going to be fun.
I figured out to participate instead of letting you do all the work, have all the fun.
Damn.
So you be all right because you still got like 74 stories in that damn phone of yours.
And do.
Anywho, hold on, let me put my phone on silent before it starts binging and dinging like Shauna's usually does. So I was on Reddit, I was on TikTok. And I don't know if y'all know this, but on TikTok, they have this Subway Surfer dude that, does the hopping over trains, collecting coins and shit. Mm-hmm. And they have, on those accounts, it's hundreds of them at this point, I'm sure, they retell stories from Reddit. Posts from Reddit that were like the Q&As or am I the assholes or whatever. And whenever I'm on TikTok, because I'm old, I follow those accounts and like car detailers and people cutting grass and, barbers and stuff. Because again, I'm old. Oh, and a lot of like chefs and stuff. So I ran across a story on TikTok and it stopped me in my tracks because it was so involved. And I actually went to Reddit to find the story and then went to YouTube to watch like a video detailing the story. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Usually I find stuff and just send it to Shauna and forget about it. But I actually was like, Shauna, I want to read this one on the show, this week's episode. So you ready to get into this one?
I'm ready.
Okay, so this is from the No Sleep thread on Reddit or the No Sleep group or whatever it is on Reddit. And it is entitled, As I Stepped on My Flight, the flight attendant gave me a strange list of rules. Dum, dum, dum.
I'm a little scared.
You should be.
Okay.
You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
And this is a series.
Mm-hmm.
Can I check your ticket, please? I handed the ticket that I had been twirling around in my hands for the past hour to the flight attendant. She nodded at it approvingly before producing a sheet of paper from the file that she was holding and placing aside my folded ticket. Have a nice flight, she commented enthusiastically before handing my ticket back to me. I grabbed my ticket and stared at the folded sheet of paper inside my ticket curiously before finding my seat. Once I settled down in my seat, I removed the folded sheet of paper from my ticket and placed the ticket in my bag. Upon unfolding the sheet of paper, I realized it was a handwritten note. The handwriting seemed rushed. I've transcribed the note from memory here. Rules for surviving this flight. 1. Do not speak of this sheet to any passenger. You are the only human on this flight. 2.
What?
Check the time on your phone after reading this sheet. All rules will apply based on the time of your phone. 3. During the first hour of this flight, do not talk to anyone. People may try to talk to you, but ignore them completely. 4. During the second hour of this flight, you may start talking again, but if anyone mentions the window, do not look outside of it at any circumstances. 5. If you hear a child crying in the cabin, immediately run to the bathroom. 6. If the screen of your entertainment console suddenly goes black, immediately look away and do not stare at it. 7. During the third hour of this flight, the captain will make an announcement. Follow the instructions. 8. During the fourth hour of this flight, do not sit in your seat. 9. If you make it past the fourth hour, you will need to spend the rest of the flight evading the chaser. You will know who the chaser is when you see them. 10. The captain will make an announcement of the plane landing. As soon as you hear this announcement, push your way to the exit door and open it. 11. You will find that the outside is simply a black void. Jump into it without hesitation.
What in the Twilight Zone is going on here?
I reread the rules again while chuckling. Did they give one of these to every passenger, or was I somehow randomly chosen for this prank? I checked the time on my phone just to humor the list. 7:13 a.m. So this would be the first hour of the flight. Suddenly, a young man walked over to my seat and sat right beside me. I gave him a casual side glance and saw that he was carrying what looked to be a laptop bag. Great, I thought. He'll work on whatever he's doing and leave me alone for the flight. The man didn't even bother to exchange a single word with me as he settled down in his seat and put on his seatbelt. He stared straight ahead and completely avoided me. I let him be and started to fiddle with my flight console. Some people just like to be left alone, I guess. Soon enough, the captain made an announcement of the plane starting, and the steady hum of the plane engine started to vibrate the entire cabin. The plane started to accelerate until the G-force pushed me into my seat. Moments later, I felt the plane rising into the air. I am typically not scared of flights, but getting on a flight always made me a bit nervous. This time, though, my stomach was in knots and beads of sweat were running down my forehead. My instincts told me that I was stepping into danger, grave danger. I dismissed my thoughts and that awful gut feeling, chalking it down to feeling a little creeped out by the note. The young man on my left suddenly tapped on my shoulder. I jolted up like I had been electrocuted. Even through my jacket, his hand felt cold and heavy like a dead person's hand. I turned around and faced the young man. His face seemed wrong. You know how those realistic human robots can creep people out because of how close to human they are? Yet subconsciously, we can tell that they aren't human. This man was giving me that same unsettling feeling, and his facial features were just artificial in a way I couldn't place. Maybe it was his eyes, a little too big, the pupils abnormally dilated, or maybe it was his nose, not exactly in the center of his face, or perhaps it was his mouth, lips way too thin and long. Don't get me wrong, he didn't look obnoxiously fake. In fact, it was those very subtle blemishes in his facial features that made him look like something trying to look like a human. And then he spoke. His voice was normal. Upon hearing his voice, the man seemed to look normal too, and I thought I was just freaking out for no reason. Hey, did you wear headphones? He asked. That was a weird question to ask. Did he want headphones? I was about to open my mouth to speak when he spoke again. How would you feel if I cut your hand off right now? What was disturbing wasn't the nature of the question itself, but the fact that he spoke in such a calm manner. It was as if he was asking me how my day was. Suddenly, my mind went to the list of rules that I had subconsciously been squeezing in my hand. The first rule said to not talk to anyone on the flight, no matter how much they tried to talk to you. I decided to ignore the man. He seemed really weird anyways, and if I was being honest, the list of rules wasn't the reason I chose to ignore him. He stopped pestering me and returned to work on his laptop. I looked over at his laptop slowly and gasped at what I saw on his screen. He had a photo of me on his screen. That's it. Nothing else. Just a full screen photo of me. Before I could process that properly, I looked over at his keyboard and noticed that it wasn't a standard keyboard. In fact, it really wouldn't even count as a keyboard. It was made up of oddly shaped keys, all marked with strange letters that I doubt existed. The man continued to stare intently at the photo of me on his screen. It was then that I realized that the list of rules wasn't a joke. Suddenly, a flight attendant popped out of nowhere and asked me, "Sir, is this man bothering you?" "Yes, he is," I replied before my voice caught up in my throat. In under a second, everyone in the cabin snapped their heads around until they were staring it directly at me. Their faces, they all looked wrong, inhuman. Slowly, their long, thin lips curled into wide smiles, and red tears started to roll down their faces. The end.
What the fuck? That sounds like some shit off the Sci-Fi Channel.
Don't it?
Chill.
Now, this is just the first part of it, and this story has 10,000 upvotes on Reddit and 390 comments. When I saw the YouTube video actually goes to the end of the story. So, I can't, we're not going to play the story here because of copyright and shit because of YouTube.
Right.
But there is more to this. So what did you think of the story?
That was some creepy shit.
Wasn't it?
That was creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really sounds like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like some shit I probably would like, yep, not watching this, and I'm changing channel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really do horror and all that shit. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I'm already afraid of flying.
Oh, yeah, I don't like planes either.
And if I look next to me and see some weird shit, listen, bitch, I'm going out like a hero because we going to be some fighting motherfuckers 30,000 feet in the air.
But what would your reaction be to getting a list of instructions?
I would have turned right back around and said, bitch, you got this.
Right as they shut the door in your face?
Shit, bye. Miss Little Flight Attendant Lady, I'd advise you to move the fuck out my way. Before shit get real on this plane, I'm going to turn this bitch into Soul Plane. Go on now. Let me out of here. What I'm not going to do is this. You got me fucked up. You about to fuck around and find out.
It's the rules, though. Like,
no, nah.
You want me to reread the rules to you?
I don't even follow rules on Earth.
You want me to reread the rules to you again?
EARF, Earth.
EURF? Earth.
Earth.
EARF, Earth.
I don't need to rehear them rules. Nah.
You don't?
Nah. Here's mine. Rule number 1.
Fuck you, I'm getting off this plane.
Fuck this shit. Rule number 2.
Open this motherfucking door.
Fuck you. Rule number 3. See rules number 1 and 2. No, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
The story, like I said, it goes on. There's an additional part. It was a 30-minute long video on YouTube.
Okay.
And I actually watched the last maybe 20 minutes of it while I was riding to Shauna's house before we recorded today. And I was like, I got to do this story on the podcast because
baby,
it's trippy. I'll tell you the ending after we finish recording. But if y'all want to go back and find it, try to find it on Reddit or on YouTube. The name of the story is, "As I stepped on my flight, the flight attendant gave me a strange list of rules." You can find it on Reddit.
It's a long ass title. Under
the No Sleep thread. You can find it on go to YouTube. YouTube has the entire story, the 30-minute long story.
Okay.
And it yeah.
What he said.
Yeah, it was a lot. A whole lot.
Shit,
so
they making the stories that I got to tell today look like nursery rhymes, look like bedtime stories.
So, and one more thing before we go to commercial break. I was scrolling on Twitter like I normally do yesterday, and I saw a very, very interesting clip. I'm gonna show Shauna this. Y'all can't see it, but I'm gonna tell y'all what it is. Once.
Is that what I think it is?
What?
That roller coaster.
Oh, you saw the roller coaster.
Child. That's why I don't fuck with roller coasters. No, sir, ma'am. Nope. This is why I don't fuck with roller coasters. Nope. All I heard was the theme music from Final Destination when I seen that video.
So, for context, since y'all clearly can't see what we're looking at, this, I believe, was at Carowinds in North Carolina over this past weekend. One of the support columns or beams for one of the roller coasters that goes upside down was completely sheared off. It was connected to like the track itself, but it wasn't connected to the rest of the beam to the ground. It was just basically floating in the air. So when the actual coaster went by, it shifted off of the out of place by like several feet, it looked like. And it actually came, it looked creepy. Hold on, my headphones came. Okay, we back in business. My headphones came unconnected. But anyway, that wasn't English. But yeah, so I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
About that Final Destination ass roller coaster?
Yes. So it shifted several feet as the truck went by. Thankfully, somebody pointed it out because apparently no one at the park had noticed that.
Which means they're not inspecting that stuff.
Must not. I thought they had to do like pre-opening inspections.
I do so
like
too.
Visual inspections.
Somebody
and stuff
probably went over there and was like, "Oh, it look all right," and went on about their business. That's what happened. No, sir, ma'am.
But so I went and posted it on my timeline, and I captioned it with this: "Even death likes to spin the block from time to time." Final Destination 6, the next chapter, in theaters May 2026.
Go ahead, screenshot that and save that in case they use your name. You want your credit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my millions. So unlike Shauna, I am a fan of horror movies. I know we talked about horror on the episode that D was on and Chi was on last month. But I'm a huge fan of horror movies. I love all this stuff. Now I haven't really seen anything like, okay, so I'm gonna date myself here. I haven't really seen anything like starting from like paranormal activity on forward, but all the slasher flicks, Final Destination, like that era of horror movies and early all the way back to like the 70s, 80s, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Amityville Horror.
I did see Amityville.
Child's Play, Candyman, the original Candyman.
I won't talk about Child's Play because I still don't understand how they let a dog beat their ass.
I loved all of those movies.
All they had to do was punt kick that fucker. Well, you let a dog.
Apparently, he had grown man strength.
He must have.
Because that dog was giving them people.
They should have punt kicked Charles' ass. That was a grown ass man.
It was a grown ass man in a dog's body.
Named Charles.
But no, so yeah, Final Destination came out in 2000. And I loved it because it was so outlandish the way those people died in that movie.
It traumatized me. I would not ride behind
that's
no type of big trucks, nothing. If it's something hanging off the back of the truck, I'm getting in the next lane.
So
I don't ride behind log trucks.
I guarantee you that if you were to see a log truck, nobody would be directly behind it. People will go around it. They'll stay too far back. They'll go speed around it to get ahead of it. And
I don't ride near tractor trailers. I don't ride near nothing big.
Did you go with us to the theater to see Final Destination 5?
I don't remember if I saw 5. I don't remember what the last one was I saw.
It's 5. So if you haven't seen it by now, the movie came out maybe 10 years ago. I'm gonna give a fucking spoiler. Turns out, and I actually figured this out halfway through the movie. It was a prequel. The events,
5 was a prequel.
The events of 5 was a bridge collapse.
Right.
There were people going on a bus trip to like a work retreat. They were going across this bridge, and the bridge freakishly collapsed. The 2 survivors of the bridge collapse got onto Flight 180, and the end of the movie showed the fight that broke out that got the people taken off of Flight 180.
Oh, okay. I think I did see
before
5
it blew up.
Chad.
And I remember seeing that in the movie. As a person who actually has like a fear of flying, I've had panic attacks.
I have a fear of flying. I'm petrified of bridges.
Well, now I'm not bridges.
Heights.
But
all that shit.
I've had panic attacks, sweated profusely while doing takeoff and during landing. They showed that the plane crashed from inside the plane catching on fire, and then my stomach turned watching that shit in the theater. But I said all that to say, there is a 6th Final Destination movie in development right now.
Jesus on the main line.
It's supposed to be on HBO Max at some point.
Now it's just Max.
What the fuck ever. HBO fucking Max, goddammit. Max, HBO Max, The Max, fucking Saved by the Bell, whatever the fuck it is.
Maxwell House Coffee.
Maxwell House, Maxwell the singer. Pretty wings. There is a 6th Final Destination movie coming, and I'm curious to know what they're going to do next, because they've done a plane crash. The second one was the log truck. The third one was the roller coaster. The fourth one was
Do they have anything with boats yet?
I don't know. The fourth one was what was the fourth? The NASCAR speedway thing, where the stands collapsed, and then the fifth one was the bridge collapse with the bus, which led into the plane in the first. So what else could they possibly do in Final Destination? I don't know, but I'll be in the theater to watch that because I love the movies because they're so fucking far fetched. And of course, we saw those movies in our 20s. I think I watched like Final Destination 4 like maybe a year or two ago and was like, so y'all just gonna go past all these warning signs. This bridge is open. Ain't no Jersey barriers. Ain't no safety equipment. It's just the open with like a clone sitting right there in the middle, and then it's just an open, like a 10-foot hole with the river below, and y'all just driving past it on a big ass bus. This don't seem a little off to y'all.
No, man.
And then another thing I noticed, for those of y'all that don't know, so what? Oh, the dog is dogging. So for those of y'all that don't know, I am actually professionally a civil engineer. I be building shit. I work and be building shit. And when Final Destination 5 happened, they made it off the bridge. They were at the police station being interviewed. And some guy comes in and says, oh yeah, we got the engineer's final report back. It was a freak accident. And I was sitting there thinking like, that takes weeks to months to get. If y'all are just being interviewed after the initial collapse.
So yeah, and the engineer kicked in.
Right. Hours after the bridge collapsed. How the fuck do you have the engineers report that fast? That don't make no sense. Okay, I'm gonna just rock with it.
And the engineer kicked in.
Yeah, I was like, how you get the report that fast? How was he on the site drafting it with a computer? How? In any event. So yeah, there is another Final Destination movie coming. You coming to see it?
Nope.
You sure?
I said, hell no.
And with that, we're going to take our first commercial break. We got some bills to pay. We're going to let y'all listen to some of these ads. Hopefully they kick them, because sometimes they don't, I noticed. But in any event, they're going to be placed here. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back. And we back. Hey, y'all. So now, Shauna, it's your turn to work your magic like you normally do.
Lord.
After that crazy ass story from Reddit.
Lord.
And let's see what foolishness you got this week with them fucking heifers. I know they in there somewhere.
I might say them for Q&A next week.
Oh, thank the Jesus.
'Cause baby, the way I was in here cackling at it. But no, so before we get started, because we didn't do this little spill before Brandon told his story, but if you have any questions or stories that you want asked, answered, told on the show, please email us at askwandapod@gmail.com. That is ASKWANDAPOD@gmail.com. You can also hit us on social media. We are WandaPod _ on IG and Twitter, and we are Wanda and Lord, I'm sorry, y'all. We are Wine and Audacity, the podcast, on Facebook.
Who's WandaPod?
You so stupid. People always asking that. Figure it out. I promise y'all, I'm checking messages more regularly now. I'm sorry, y'all. I swear I am. So, you ready to jump into my story? My story ain't scary like Brandon's.
Let's do it.
But it's a little long. So, this first question.
Okay. What we getting into?
All right. The first question comes from a Reddit thread called Entitled People. Okay.
Reddit, you should sponsor us to be pulling all your content.
Chad, I'm saying.
See, knock that mic over here.
So, the title of this story is My Over-Controlling, Entitled, Narcissistic Mother.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. So, the story is a bit long, y'all. I'm going to try to summarize it on where I can, but, I mean, we can keep this thing as long as we can, because this our shit. So, let's see. The story begins with a bit of a backstory. So, it says, I'm a 24 female. Excuse me, y'all. Frappuccino. Stuck in my damn throat. When I was a child, my mother basically raised me as a spoiled brat, and I freely admit that. I had no rules, and I constantly got myself suspended from school because I faced no consequences and was allowed to stay up to unimaginable hours. My mother was so controlling that at 9 years old, I wasn't allowed to wipe myself or even bathe myself.
What? At 9?
At 9. She was constantly treating me like I was 3 years old, which is how I acted. I am now grateful that CAS, which I'm assuming is Child Protective Services in another state, decided to take me from her care and put me in a home at 9.5 years old. At the time, I was less than happy, but now I know I would have been a whole different person than I am today. When my mom was a kid, she was always bullying the other kids in the neighborhood and was abusive to one of my aunts, whom I wish was my mother. My grandmother on my mom's side was told by someone, I don't know who, that she had two choices, that either my mom, who was 16 at the time, moved out, or the whole family of four would be evicted. So she kicked my mom out and she moved in with my dad, who was also around 16, I think, at the time. My mom ended up pregnant with my older brother, and I believe shortly after his birth, my dad was arrested. Then he got out of jail 3 or so years later and hooked back up with my mother, which is how I was conceived. I don't know what happened afterwards, because I heard it from my mother, but I don't believe a word she says. When I was a child, my mother decided to kick several people out of my life that I should have known, but she didn't want me to know because she didn't like them, one of which was my father and his whole side of his family. My mother has told me for years that my dad was arrested for domestic violence, which basically made me fear reaching out to him. I am a very non-confrontational person and hate talking to strangers. I recently got in touch with my dad and found out that she had lied to me for years. And yes, that my dad was arrested, but not for domestic violence. He told me he was arrested for breaking and entering and stealing cigarettes. I chose to believe him more than my mother because she has lied to me more times than I care to count, causing me to go little to no contact with her. My mother is known for having an extremely short fuse and tries gaslighting me and controlling my memories. Several deaths happen in my family of people who I should have known but never had the chance to because of her. My great-grandfather on my mom's side died a couple of years ago, and I only got to meet him when he was on his deathbed. That's sad.
Wow.
I had asked her why she never brought me up to see him, and she said, I'm sorry, y'all, I lost my spot for a second. She said she did, even though I have zero memory of her doing so. My grandfather on my dad's side died a few years ago as well, and since I was afraid to reach out, I never got to meet him. My dad also got married last year, and I never got the chance to be at his wedding. My grandmother is a classified hoarder. I was about to call grandma a whore.
I was about to say like a whore. She's a
hoarder.
She's a hoarder. Okay.
Yeah, my grandmother is a classified hoarder, and my aunt spent years trying to convince my overly kind grandmother to move out of the house her brother owned. It was literally falling apart, and only one of the 5 bedrooms was actually livable. All the others had some kind of problem, from the lighting being broken to the ceilings having collapsed. It was a duplex house property my great uncle owned. It was basically 2 houses side by side that shared a main supporting wall, but had 2 front doors and 2 back doors. The side my grandmother lived in had started sinking years ago, causing the house to basically start splitting in the middle, since one side was getting lower than the other. This caused an infestation of roaches, mice, rats, raccoons, foxes, squirrels, etc. Oh, no. And maybe even pests that I don't know. One of my cousins and their son moved into the other side of the unit a couple years ago and started harassing my grandmother and aunt for reasons that still baffle me to this day. The stress and the lack of my respect for my grandmother on a daily basis finally got to my grandmother, and she decided to move out, which didn't happen the way my aunt and grandma wanted it to happen. So that was pretty much the backstory, y'all. That was a lot.
Wait, that was just the backstory?
That was just the freaking backstory.
Oh, shit.
That was a lot. And the rest of the story, I think baby girl was just written. She needed to get some shit off her chest. So now you got the backstory out the way. Let's move forward. Last year, my grandmother had a stroke that affected her speech. Me and my aunt have strong suspicions that the stroke was caused by my mom. Mm-hmm. My mom invited me and grandma over to her house to try out her new hot tub in the middle of the summer. I refused to get in because it's pretty hot in the damn summer. And I sat and started gossiping with my family. My grandmother decided to go in, which at the time lost my spot again. My grandmother decided to go in, which at the time didn't realize such a bad idea. My grandmother is diabetic, has a blood disorder, and had her uterus basically fall out of her, causing her to wear diapers all the time.
What?
How does your uterus fall out? I'm so behooved over here.
Oh, I ain't never heard. Well, I guess I wouldn't have heard of it because I don't have one of them.
I mean,
is that a thing?
But I ain't never heard of that. I've heard some strange medical stories. Maybe we should do an episode about strange ass medical stories.
No, that would work. I
Because,
added to the
my
list.
Lord.
Goodness.
Okay, so during a couple hours we were over there, my brother decided to drop his son off for my mother to watch. He was supposed to pick him up in a few hours, but my brother is only ever on time when he has to go to work. My mom had plans to take my grandmother to some kind of Elvis movie or something and didn't plan very well. She ended up leaving my nephew with my mom's boyfriend and taking my grandmother out. It was verging on a extreme heat warning that day when my mother took my grandmother to one of the theaters in the largest part of the city using public transit, as my mother does not have a license.
Okay.
That was most likely what caused her stroke, and my aunt, who has lived and helped care for my grandmother for nearly her entire life, except for 4 months, is responsible for taking care of her now. So she says, I believe that my grandmother ended up in the hospital and was diagnosed with a stroke later that week. She was also diagnosed with Alzheimer's disorder and was no longer allowed to be anywhere alone for her own safety. The hospital stated she cannot return to the house she was living at for her safety. She only had 2 choices. One was to go to an old age home, or she can go live with my mom. She chose to go live with my mom. While all of this is happening, I had no idea my grandmother was even in the hospital because my mother thought I didn't have a right to know my grandmother could have died in the hospital and I could have been told that my grandmother passed away without me even knowing something was wrong with her.
Why did you have a right to know?
Right. That's what I would like to understand. Like, your mother sounds like a bitch. My aunt realized that my mother never told me or my brother that my grandmother was in the hospital until about 4 days after she came home. My grandmother stayed in rehab for about 2 or 3 weeks and moved into my mother's home shortly after. Then shortly after that, my mother somehow managed to get POA over my grandmother, even though she had lost custody of her own 4 children.
Okay.
In addition to me and my brother, I have 2 half-sisters. Before my grandmother officially moved in with my mother, my aunt took her to the bank and put a block on the bank account that required my aunt and grandma to be at the bank in order for my mother to access her money.
Smart.
As my mother has shown that she is money hungry, and my grandmother was saving up to pay for her gravestone, which costed about $10,000, and she had $7,000 saved up.
Do they cost that much?
I think it depends on what you get, because I know when my dad passed, it was like included in everything else that we did.
Oh, okay.
So I can't remember the exact.
But it wasn't $10,000.
But it wasn't $10,000. They got some fancy shit.
Maybe that's like a marble one with a fan and solar
picture
power.
With you on the front of the bitch like this. Yeah, it gotta be. It gotta be. Okay, so it stated that my aunt has all rights to my grandmother's finances. Sounds like that's the way it should have been, because your mother, again, sounds like a bitch. Doing all of this, my aunt moved in with me and a close friend of mine as she was getting evicted now that my grandmother wasn't there anymore. We didn't have a lot of space, and she ended up putting most of her stuff in a storage unit, only coming to my house with her essentials that she needed to live. 8 months later, we got approved for subsidized housing and moved into a larger 3-bedroom townhouse. Now that we had the space, I convinced my friend to help us pay for a lawyer, as me and my aunt only had $1,000 a month each, while he made $2,000 a month getting paid weekly. That's still not a lot of damn money depending on where you live at, but that's a whole nother conversation, honey. No, sir. Okay, so we're currently in the process of taking away my mother's POA and giving it to my aunt. Let's see, guys. Before we moved into our new home, my mother found out I was moving from another family member and pestered me about where we were moving to. I kept trying to dodge her questions until I couldn't come up with any more excuses why I couldn't tell, and I had to tell her the truth that me and my friend, who had heard more than enough stories about my mother, and my aunt were all in agreement that we didn't want my mother to know where we were moving to. Mm-hmm. That happened the day before we moved, and I had to get up early because I was getting another family member to take me and the animals up to make it a whole lot easier for the movers so they won't be tripping over the cat and the dog. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm gonna skip a little bit of this stuff because some of the stuff is still unnecessary, y'all.
Foolishness.
Yeah. So she said, I'm glad I did because my mother decided to show up and ask for me. She just strolled in through the sliding door like she owned the place. She started mouthing off to my friends, and I think she found out the address for the movers after she supposedly left. I had to block her number because she kept spam calling me and I couldn't get 5 minutes apiece. About 5 or so days after I moved, she decided to show up to our new place. I was already mad at her because she kept calling my friend a child molester and other not so nice names on Facebook. He is a 54-year-old male, but he has treated me like a daughter for so many years and has helped me buy about 15 to 20 grand worth of property over the years. I have never been interested in any form of romantic relationship with him and vice versa. As of last February, my aunt agreed to close my grandmother's account and open a new account with another bank on the condition that my mother would keep my aunt informed of the conditions that my grandmother was in, and also let her know where the money was going that she was, sending over there. She has not kept her informed. She has not told her anything about where the money was going, but as of recently, she bought a new washer and dryer combo that we suspect that she used my grandmother's money for, along with a new mobility scooter for herself, even though she has no need for the damn scooter.
What?
My money-hungry mother surprisingly decided to give me her old washer and dryer despite requiring a bit of cleaning. And the dryer, it was working perfectly fine, so what did she need to buy a new one for? My mother makes about $1,000 a month like me and my aunt, maybe a little more, so there's no way for her to have bought something so expensive. There's no way she can afford the dryer. She has countered that I was no longer allowed at her place and I could not see my grandmother anymore until my friend was out of my life. What one has to do with the other, who the hell knows? I don't understand. Your mother is a controlling ass bitch. Let's see. She also planned a surprise birthday party back in May for my grandmother that neither me or my aunt was invited to. We're still trying to get the POA. And I suspect by Christmas, my aunt will have the POA. Now, I'm assuming the POA is power of attorney.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure. See, my aunt's lawyer is building a case, trying to get weekly visitation and trying to make sure that my aunt stays on my grandmother's account. He sent 3 letters so far and is waiting for a reply for the letters that he has sent. And that's basically it. That is basically it. The mother's a bitch. The mother is trying to take advantage of the grandmother. And her and the aunt are trying to save the grandmother because they know that if she gets control of everything, that's it.
Oh, that's it?
That's pretty much it. That's what she said. So it's supposed to be an update to the story. I wasn't able to find the update to the story to find out what happened to Grandma. But as of right now, yeah, Grandma is staying over there with narcissistic ass mama who is more than likely spending mama's money. So the reason I pulled that story is because I have a few people who I know who are the ones who do everything for, maybe their grandparents or their parents or whatever else. And then the people who did nothing come in with their hands out when, that person goes on to glory.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Baby. Did absolutely nothing. So, to anybody who don't have a living will or a power of attorney or anything like that, please go get that and make sure it's somebody you can trust.
In order, please. Yes. Yeah, please. I'm gonna tell.
And be very careful of who you trust because everybody do not have your best interest. I got family members I wouldn't put nowhere near my shit. But outside of my mom, it's very few people who I would trust that know that's gonna take care of my kid. I got insurance policies and all kinds of stuff for my kid. Brandon is his godfather. Brandon on one of them because I know he gonna take care of my kid. Key on one of them because I know he gonna do it. His
I
other
might take a little percentage out for.
I can't stand you. I can't stand
I might need to get pay for my hair transplant some kind.
Not your hair transplant.
I mean,
You stupid. And
that's a little coin.
Yeah, I got
Trey get most of it.
I got his other godmother on one because I know she gonna make sure he good. But
he'll get most of it.
Baby, let me tell you something.
I got about $10. Here you go, Trey. You like my hair though?
Not you like your hair.
This is how your mother wanted.
Brandon, if he does that to you, you better pull every plug out of his head. One by one.
You look better with that haircut. You look better like that.
No, thank you, Trey. I miss having hair.
I
I appreciate you,
I'm
brother.
gonna shave mine too, then, huh?
No.
Baby,
You can't pull the Tony Braxton, Shauna.
Baby, no, I can't. Not with this big ass head.
But shit, like definitely, like Shauna said, I think that was one of the big things. Like I know before my mom passed, I didn't have life insurance. And after she passed and seeing everything that we had to go through with her, she had it in her case, but the policy hadn't matured. So we only got essentially what she paid into it, which wasn't much. And I was like, yeah, once I finished dealing with all of this stuff, I'm going to go get me a life insurance policy. I did. It is.
I'm going to up mine. I need some more up-to-date ones. I'm going to increase them.
Policy?
Now that Trey's older, I'm going to increase them a little more.
You only need one policy.
I got one for me and one for him.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
But I'm going to increase both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely don't leave your people out here struggling trying to,
Luckily, my dad did have life insurance, but he didn't have a will. So, like, all his property and all that stuff, he had to go through all of that.
Probate and stuff.
Yes, it was a lot. Yeah. It was very, very, very stressful.
Yeah.
Very stressful. I told my mama, please get your stuff in order, sis, because I'm tired. I think my grandparents have that stuff in order, so.
Yeah. You don't want to be one of these people, unfortunately, to say and not trying to make fun, but you want to be one of these people online with GoFundMe saying, well, we got to pay for our brother, sister, cousin, mama, daddy's funeral, and ain't no money, and we got to crowd fund $10,000 just to do a cheap burial, you know?
Baby, listen, here go $800. Go ahead and take them to, whatchamacallit, the one with the on-site crematory, and you just going to have to cremate.
I'm going to tell you this now, Shauna. Don't let my sister put a GoFundMe out in case I go before her.
I won't.
I got life insurance.
I won't. Just tell me where your paperwork is.
If any of my family is listening to this, don't let my sister do a GoFundMe, please. I don't need it. I have life insurance.
If it go up, I'll report it.
Thank you.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
And please don't let them put me on no fucking shirts.
Oh, jeez.
No, them airbrush shirts with my picture, me standing there like.
In the clouds.
Gone too soon. Please don't. I can see you now. He didn't want none of this.
I'm getting on the mic like, this is some bullshit. And I hope he haunt all y'all asses.
Oh, you know I will.
Haunt him. Scare the bejesus out of him.
Yo, you know I will.
Pop up in the mirror behind him in the bathroom.
Surprise, bitch.
Yeah, please haunt them.
Next door.
And then send me a sign that you did it so I can giggle. That's it. Now, when I pulled this story, I'm just scrolling on Facebook, and I know I'm not the only person who sees something with 1,500 comments, and I'm gonna sit there and hit previous comment till I get back to the top of this thread.
And read through all 1,500.
Because I'm going to read all 1,500 of them comments, especially if it's some drama or some mess involved.
If it's a good story.
Yes.
If it's a real good story.
So this story didn't have that many comments, but when I read the title of it, I was like, what the fuck? I thought I was reading it wrong.
Right, well, what's the title?
The title of this story is, I caught my wife having an affair with her brother.
What?
Her brother. I thought it said my brother at first. Because I was a little sleepy when I was doing this last night. I was a little sleepy. So then when I went back and looked at it again, I was like, wait, that's
What in the incest?
Baby.
Now
What in the flowers of the attic? What in the...
I love that
This
movie.
is disturbing.
I love that movie. That movie was a trip.
This is disturbing.
Did you see that movie? You saw Flowers in the Attic.
Eventually. I'm trying to remember if I saw the original one. I think I might have seen the remake.
When was the remake come out? When did the remake
It's been on Lifetime for a minute, and then it's like some prequels.
No, baby.
Yeah. I have to watch the original.
You need to watch the original
one.
Christy Swanson, Buffy the Vampire Slayer mannequin. Christy Swanson was in Flowers in the Attic.
Okay.
And that movie was a trip.
Yeah, Key told me about it years ago, and I was like, that is disturbing.
It is. I think I saw the movie when I was maybe in my late teens or early 20s, and I sat there glued to the screen like,
Yeah, that's
this
disturbing.
bitch is really her own damn children and grandchildren. That's some shit.
Disturbing.
It was a disturbing story. But they locked them niggas in that room. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. Disturbing. All right, so.
Nofundmes In The Attic.
Not Nofundmes In The Attic.
That's the episode title. Hold on. Let me make a little note. Go ahead, Shauna.
So, I've been married to my soon-to-be ex-wife for 5 years. But I have been dating her for the past 8. And I never would have thought that something this crazy would happen to me.
What happened?
So my wife, 43 female, and I, 44 male, have been together and inseparable for as long as I know. Mm-hmm. We met at a bar after her night shift as a nurse, and we instantly clicked. My wife hasn't been able to get pregnant since she has a condition called endometriosis.
Okay, that's common.
It is. I actually have a form of endometriosis.
Oh, no.
Child. Which she had for her whole life. She's always been really insecure about it and has told me to leave her multiple times since I always wanted a big family. But it didn't matter to me. This past spring has been very revealing of this whole situation, and I just can't believe what she's done to me. My wife has a brother, 38 male, and me and him have both got along pretty well and bonded over our love for fishing and hunting. He had his own wife and kids, and I just don't understand why he had to ruin mine. I'm a contractor, and I took a job out of the city that would have taken 3 weeks. Then I'd be able to go home. My wife was fine with it, and even though she usually comes with me for these long trips, she wanted to stay home and take care of the dogs. That's in quotes, y'all. Quote unquote. Take care of the dog.
She taking care of the dog, all right.
Baby, you taking care of some wood. Take care of the dogs, this seems pretty normal. I left for my job.
You know what?
But about 2 days in my trip, I had realized that I forgot my meds and I had to go back, which was all right and wouldn't disturb any of the work. I didn't tell my wife that I was coming back because I wanted to surprise her. I got home around 11 p.m. and was surprised to see her brother's car in the driveway since he was supposed to be at the hospital with his wife who was in labor. But maybe he had forgotten something from our last meetup. So I went in and the lights were off. So my wife was probably asleep in the room, but I didn't see her brother, which was odd. But maybe he came and crashed in the guest room. I went to my room and I saw the two of them together in bed. Their clothes were on the floor, a bottle of wine was on the coffee table, and the picture of us at our wedding was face down on the side table, along with her ring next to it.
Ooh.
This was insane, and so I immediately started yelling at the two. My wife and her lover/brother woke up and started rummaging around looking for their clothes, which were just scattered all over. She tried to apologize and wanted to talk to me, but I was in disbelief. My brother-in-law was putting on his shorts and tried to calm me down, but that just made it worse. So I took my dogs and booked a room at a motel. I took my dogs and booked a room at a motel in town. My wife was blowing up my phone with apologies and asked for forgiveness, but when I finally responded, it was me demanding a divorce. Update.
Girl.
I've been talking to my lawyer and it's settled. I'm taking the house, the car, and the dogs. And
the kids, the dog.
I want it all. And she'll get half of the money in the bank account. She shouldn't get shit, but okay.
She shouldn't.
She'll be staying with her ancestral family a couple of states west, and she won't be any of my problem. I don't know when I'll start dating again or if I'll ever, because of my brand new trust issues from this previous event.
Oh my God.
But I'll go where the future takes me. Baby. What the fuck?
I just have one thing to say about this whole situation.
Ew. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted.
So, my question is, when did they start fucking? Because
that's what I want to know. I wonder if this has been going on for years, if this is some shit.
Prior to her getting married?
Yeah. Because you don't all of a sudden, your brother, your blood brother, or she's lying about that being her brother.
Maybe that's
or
the case.
it could be a stepbrother.
It could, maybe he was, you know how like maybe he was like adopted or taken in by the family.
That's what
it's
I'm
like
wondering.
a foster sibling.
Because if that's your blood brother, baby, y'all need help. And in a lot of states, ain't incest illegal.
You mean, is it legal? In some states, I think incest is still legal.
What?
Hold on. Let me consult the Google. Hold, please.
Ew.
Okay, so it's illegal. So let's see. Prohibited acts, marriage and intercourse with siblings is illegal in Alabama. Sexual penetration is illegal in Alaska. Marriage, sexual intercourse, deviant sexual intercourse is illegal in American Samoa. Arizona, Arkansas. That's surprising. Oh, no shade, Arkansas. Hey, Low Rock. We rock with y'all. Real little. According to this, all this is illegal, but I mean, there's different degrees of it. But that is absolutely disgusting.
Ew.
Yeah.
I can't even. When I was reading this, like, I wish somebody probably could have got a reaction of my face while I was reading this, because I felt my eyebrows, like my eyebrows were touching my hairline by the time I got to the end of it.
Judice.
Like, they damn sure do. You are right. You're right. They've been
in her defense. She has a she has a little hairline. Her hairline is like a couple.
It's on top of her eyebrows.
Yeah,
baby. That was a lot.
I'm gonna assume, for the sake of argument, that this guy is not her biological brother. I'm gonna say he's her adopted brother or her stepbrother, or
something,
or like a foster brother that the family.
If y'all
took
got
in.
the same mom and same daddy, ew.
And or shit.
Right. Ugh.
I'm acquainted with my siblings, but not nowhere near that damn level. That's disgusting.
Y'all need Jesus. Yep.
They need to be hosed down.
And Trey's words when Trey was a baby, that was his favorite word. Mommy, that's disgusting. I was like, I don't know if that's a word, but okay.
But okay, baby, we gonna rock with it.
It's disgusting.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, okay. Now this next one, y'all, also comes from the Entitled People thread on Reddit.
Okay.
This one is much shorter than the first one. So this one is titled, "Friend wants to use me as her backup ATM."
What?
Before I even read the story, girl, fuck you. I feel like this gonna be my answer anyway. Okay, so next month I am going away on vacation with a longtime friend, female. We are both females. We are going to the Caribbean for 5 nights. It is not all inclusive, so we will be responsible for paying for food, drinks, and any activities. She asked me how much was I bringing in cash. I said $300 cash plus my debit and my credit card. She told me she is going to bring $300 cash, but not her debit or credit cards. First of all, I can tell you now, $300 for a 5-day vacation ain't gonna cut it, sis.
That's what, like maybe a day or two worth of meals?
Depending on what you're doing, depending on where you're eating, what you're doing, if you're doing activities outside of the wherever you're staying.
Yeah,
like, baby,
I feel like most meals, if you get a hotel that has breakfast
not
included.
all inclusive, yeah.
Ooh, okay. I mean,
Baby,
maybe they frugal.
When we went to Mexico last year, we was all inclusive, so we didn't really have to worry about food. We only ate outside of the resort probably twice the entire time we were there.
Was it expensive?
To eat outside? Well, the one place we went to for my cousin's birthday was a little pricey, but it was worth it. The food was.
Was it in
amazing.
USD or was it in pesos?
USD.
Okay.
It was in USD.
Yep.
Some stuff was in pesos, but they would translate it
to
for
dollar.
us, so we would know, and it was like hella cheap. Because you'll see like 1,000 pesos, but then once you break it down to USD, you be like, oh shit, girl, take this $20 or some shit, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. But anyway, so she said she was also bringing $300, but she wasn't bringing her debit or her credit cards. She said she was on a budget and $300 was her limit. Baby, she was gonna be at L McDonald's because you not on no tourist island. You're not gonna get away with that. But whatever. So I explained that comes to around only $60 per day. This is not one of the cheaper Caribbean islands, so food and drinks alone won't leave her with much left over. I reminded her that she needs to factor in cabs, incidentals,
right,
and activities that we may decide to do.
Right.
And you never know if an emergency may come up where she would need money. She says to me, that's what I have you for. And started to laugh. It was at that moment that she fucked up. Because I would have left her ass in the United States, but whatever. So that pissed me off to no end. I tell her that we are both adults who are responsible for our own selves.
Right.
It would be one thing if she lost her purse and needed money. I would float her money before she even had to ask.
Right.
But to purposely use me as her backup ATM is not going to work. I told her now that I know what she is up to, I'm not going to go along with it. If she runs out of money, she will be assed out and hungry. She needs to bring her cards with her for her own good.
So wait. So let me make sure I'm understanding this right. So they're having a conversation about the trip ahead of time. Yes. They haven't gone on the trip yet.
Yes.
And the friend is saying that she's only bringing $300
in cash, and she's not going to bring her cards or anything.
But why?
Right? Who does it? She says she's on a budget.
I'm okay. Well, you can be on the budget. Did she say, or was there some sort of implication to where it's like I'm only bringing $300, but I may ask you for money, or I may, XYZ?
Not that I see.
Oh, well, go ahead. Continue my phone.
So the end of the story is she is now telling me I am too harsh and she will bring extra money but no cards. I told her to do what she wants, but if there's an emergency, she on her own.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
I don't think she's wrong. Because how dare you?
How
dare you go on vacation unless it was explicitly stated that, all right,
you need to bring this specific amount of money.
We're going on vacation. If you ain't got it, I got you. But to assume that I'm going to cover your ass because you're on a budget. You knew you was on a budget before we went on this vacation.
Did she assume that she was going to cover her in case there were overages? Because
that's the way it sounded to me. Because to say, oh, well, if anything happens, that's what I have you for.
Oh, see, that's what you fucked up.
That's a big ass assumption with a capital ass.
Because the way the way I was reading this was maybe she had travel insurance. When you travel internationally, you can buy travel insurance. So if there was some sort of like medical emergency or something, she would be covered.
Yeah.
But what I recently learned is travel insurance kicks in after the fact. You have to pay up front, and they reimburse you on the back end. So if you go to a place like Mexico or places in like Central America that require money up front for these services. If you break your leg or something happens and you don't have $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 to get the work done, you shit out of luck.
In a whole nother country.
And I'm gonna tell myself in a second, but if I would have been like, okay, well, if that's what you bring in, you only bring $300, you need more than that, I would have had the conversation with her. But I also would have been like, well, girl, you on your own. So if you only bring $300,
you're not getting nowhere with no even in an all-inclusive place. You ain't getting nowhere with $300 on no damn 5-day trip.
Maybe she's a person that is uber frugal.
That's possible.
And maybe she's bringing her own food from home. Maybe she bringing her own food and snacks. Maybe she thinks she can go to Walmart. Walmart in Mexico.
The Walmart.
The Walmart in Mexico to get her some cheap stuff to have so she can't eat out because that ain't gonna get you.
Not a damn thing.
Well, girl, that ain't. I'm not.
Girl, bye.
I'm not in the business of pocket watching, but yeah. And I'm gonna say, like I said, I was about to tell myself, I actually, I didn't do this. I didn't do exactly this, but when I was in college, I went to Madrid, Spain for a weekend with a couple of my colleagues who were on the same internship with me. And I was flat broke. I had enough money to get to Madrid and to get to and from Madrid. And I think I had money for like a meal or two, but I went on like a wing and a prayer, like, hey y'all, so I'm kind of broke, so I can't afford to do much besides like eat once or twice a day. I can't buy like extra shit. And they looked out for me,
That was nice.
But
you was upfront about it.
Yeah. I didn't be like, oh yeah, I'm broke. No, I told them that when we got there, like, hey, y'all, money's kind of tight. So if y'all want to do like go places and see stuff, like I can afford to like have my money to get around, like get on the subway or get on the bus. I could pay for a meal or two like per day, but I don't have like money to spend. They looked out for me. But again, mind you, I was like 20, 21. No, I was like 23 or 24 when I went on that trip. This not like me in my late 20s working full-time job. Like, girl, I'm on a budget. We going to the Maldives. I got $200 to spend for a week.
Baby.
Well, girl, you better have fun.
Be over there eating dirt cookies.
You better have fun sitting in this room. Take you a sip of water.
See when we get back, girl.
I take pictures. Love you, girl.
Love you here. Love you here. I don't like when people take advantage of people. Like, no, ain't nobody making fun of you because you broke or something. Everybody go through some shit. But when you got something pre-planned and you just assume that people are going to look out for you, no, this is a conversation that needs to be had prior to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't take advantage of people. This next question actually came from one of my cousins. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not this story. That wasn't the story she gave me. My bad. I'm about to say, I think that one came from her. It did not. This one came from the story thread again on good old Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is titled, I think my husband is having an affair with our babysitter.
Huh?
Yeah. Just burn the house down. I'm sorry. Don't listen to me because I ain't going to put no money on your books, I swear.
What? Go ahead, Shauna.
So,
go ahead.
Okay, this person says, I 26 female and my husband 28 male have been together for 7 years. That's including the time that we dated prior to us getting married. He always has been good to me. We've known each other since school, and he has never did nothing wrong that I know of. Our babysitter, Ashley, is 19 years old, and she's been working in our house for 4 months already. I get the vibe that they are too intimate. Always sneaking around, whispering, and I get suspicious, but tried trusting my husband. Last night, I came home 30 minutes earlier from work, and my husband was home because he's always gets up earlier than me. Ashley was still there, and he hasn't sent her home yet at that time. And when I opened the front door, I heard some noise coming from upstairs. After some seconds, Ashley came down the steps and said goodbye. I got really mad and confronted my husband about it. We started arguing. He said I was crazy and delusional and that Ashley was a great babysitter and that we would never find someone else like her, that she's hardworking and all. He started to get aggressive, holding my face in his hands and shouting that she was a wonderful sitter and that I need to stop being a lunatic. This really got my suspicions up because we don't have any children.
Hold Whoa.
I couldn't wait to see your reaction to that. I couldn't wait to see your reaction.
Hold the fuck up. What is she sitting? Or besides some dick, of course.
I'm so confused.
What did they need to sit for? Was it a house sitter? A plant sitter?
Baby, she said babysitter in these comments. And I'm reading the story earlier. I said, oh, he a dirty motherfucker messing with the babysitter. I got to that last line. I was like, bitch, what? So what is... She's sitting on your husband's dick. That's what's going on, honey. That's it. Cause is she babysitting the babies in his nuts?
Must be if she draining them.
That's the baby she babysitting.
She carrying them too.
They going from his nuts to her stomach on a magic school bus, bitch. Cause what? I could not wait to see your reaction today. I was like, and I reread it 3 times. Like, did I miss a line? I'm so confused. It said babysitter.
Fuck away. What the fuck did you need a babysitter for? There's nothing to watch.
I'm confusion.
Was you watching the ceiling? Watching your ankles clapping in the air?
Baby.
I'm confused.
I am confused.
I am confused.
I just had to see your reaction to that. You know I gotta throw you a little razzle dazzle every day with it in frame.
That ain't had no razzle dazzle, baby. that was just pee. It wouldn't.
So we gonna go backwards to and the entitled parents thread on Reddit. Now, if y'all have not noticed a theme today, although we didn't have a specific topic, I came across a lot of people with the motherfucking audacity in my research for these questions for this episode. So, this next one is titled Mother Demands I Give Her a Cut. My mother knows of a book I'm publishing. It's about my trauma and abuse that I went through. I was molested as a kid and sexually assaulted, and I'm writing about it. She demanded that I didn't publish it. I didn't talk to her for a couple days. She messaged me and said, if you publish that book and make any money, you better give me 50% of the profits you make.
For what? Huh?
And again, I said, bitch, what?
Finish. Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was it.
Run that by me again. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
The OP is writing a book about her childhood trauma. She was sexually assaulted and molested when she was a child, so she's writing a book. Her mother first told her that she did not want her to write the book and didn't want her to publish the book.
Okay.
She ignored her mother, stopped speaking to her for a few days, only for her mother to message her and say, if you do publish the book, I want 50% of the profits. For why?
Okay, sis, well, have your lawyer contact my lawyer, and if you want to refute something, you can, but... What?
So, it's a little bit of a follow-up. My mother, who allowed all the things detailed here to happen, when finding out about the book was about to be published and realized she had no way to prevent it, demanded half of the proceeds that I may make in the future.
Well, girl, give me 50%. If you don't get the fuck out my face.
Like, for what? Why do you think that you're entitled to the money that I'm making off trying to heal from my pain? Girl, fuck you. Let's add her to the list. Fuck you, Mom.
I can't put mom. I'm not gonna put mom on the list. Because mom is too generic.
It is.
Because I feel like when we
Let's
go back,
give her a name.
come back. Okay, hold on.
Let's give her a name.
Hold on, y'all. Let me go to the Wanda Pa fuck you list. Hold on. I gotta find it
She
first.
sounds like a Karen.
No, Karen. No.
What else? What else could she be? A Sarah.
Dumb bitch that wants 50% of book proceeds. And that's after the nigga that shitted on himself when he got punched in the face.
Oh, shit. That's still funny. That's still funny. That shit is still funny. That's still funny. Then we gonna ease on over to another Reddit thread. This one is petty revenge.
Well, hold on. Before you read that, let's take another commercial break.
Okay.
And we will be right back. And we back. Hey, y'all. We back. And we're back.
So, like I was saying before we went to commercial break, this next story is the next to the last story for this episode. And it comes from the petty revenge thread on Reddit. I am a fan of petty revenge. It's a beautiful
Lord.
thing, even though, you know, God says vengeance is mine. However,
Go ahead, Sean.
when he said mine, I wasn't quite sure if he was referring to me or himself. All right, so the title of this one is "Husband Who Dumped Me Now Has to Now Pays Me Not to Divorce Him."
The husband is paying her to not
Divorce
Please,
him.
go ahead. I need to hear this.
You ready?
I need to hear this.
My husband of 25 years decided he wanted to split up. I unsuccessfully begged him to change his mind and spent a lot of nights crying on the bathroom floor. First of all, it says fuck him. One thing to note is that I carried the health insurance for the family. He is self-employed. When he wouldn't change his mind, we filed for legal separation and he moved out. In the meantime, I got a banging new job that covers 100% of the health and dental insurance premiums for the entire family with a $100 deductible. First of all, sister, glow up.
I mean, congrats.
He is still allowed to be on my insurance since we are legally separated but not divorced. And it costs me nothing to have him on my insurance, but I am petty as hell. A woman after my own heart. So I charge him $400 a month for something that cost me $0. He, of course, is welcome to get insurance on his own in the marketplace, which will probably cost at least 2 times that amount for an equivalent policy. I make sure he knows it costs me nothing, nada, zip, to have him on my insurance, and that his $400 a month payment is funding my upcoming trip to Spain.
Right.
Come on, sis, we traveling.
I mean, hey.
if you have a legal separation, getting a divorce in my state is just a matter of filing a form and paying $60. If I did that, he couldn't be on my insurance anymore. So he is basically paying me $400 a month not to file for divorce after not wanting to be married to me anymore. I love it. This approach was approved by my family law attorney, my estate attorney, his attorney, my health insurance company, and my employer. So if you know better than all those parties combined, have at it. I reported the income to the IRS. People who say things like, but what about alimony, clearly don't understand how any of this works.
Right.
So that's how she got her revenge. Oh, you want to leave? I know you want to leave me. But nigga, run me my $400. Thank you. Run me my $400 every damn month. I would cut the nigga off the insurance and collect the $400 for a couple more months. He ain't gonna know he ain't on the insurance till he try to go to the hospital.
I kind of feel like, in the words, I think it was Baddies West on Zeus. I've never seen it, but the one clip that circulates is, get your lick back. I said that, get your lick back. I had to say that in my best Southeast DC accent. Get your lick back.
Baby.
Sis got her lick back.
And it.
Well, play stupid games, come out of pocket $400 a month for health insurance.
Run me my coin. Run me my coin. I want all my money. So listen, we're going to stay on this petty revenge thread for one more.
Okay. This is the last one?
This is going to be the last one, y'all.
Okay.
Because this episode got a little long, Chad, and be hungry.
We always hungry.
So this one is entitled, If You Steal My Lunch, Beware of the Danger When You Mess With Me.
I think, okay, go ahead.
Several years ago, I worked at a place and I would bring with me my special experience homemade meals for lunch. Someone started stealing my lunches and I suspected a certain person, and that person had a nut allergy. So one day I packed a meal containing walnuts, and next thing I know, one of my coworkers had a swollen face, had trouble breathing, and needed to be rushed to the hospital. Not my fault you had allergies and still decided to steal other people's lunches.
I mean...
Sorry, I simply had a craving for walnuts that day. I love it. Keep your hands out. I had that happen to me. I had to have you got your mouth set for something like, ooh, I bought me something good for lunch, and you go in there and somebody done been in your shit.
Girl,
I have a story to go with that.
Well, hold on. Let me... This is... So I don't know if there's legal precedence behind this. Was it Reddit? It's somewhere I saw where this woman or this person that worked in the office kept getting their lunch stolen by somebody.
Yeah.
So they put like hot sauce, like pepper sauce or something real spicy.
I remember that
habaneros
yes.
or like ghost peppers on the food.
Yeah.
And the person had to be rushed to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I think the job tried to write her up or fire her for doing that.
Right.
But her response is, well, it was my food. And if I wanted to put something on my food and you eat something that wasn't yours, why am I legally responsible for what happened to you? I didn't give it to them.
They took it.
Right.
So how could I be blamed for that? You
stole my lunch. If I can handle the spice of whatever I put on my food.
That's my business.
Or if I don't have an allergy to that thing and you eat something. If I've come to management, this one thing I learned about working in places, working in corporate, cover your ass.
Yep.
Always cover your ass.
I agree.
If you've reported having your lunch stolen repeatedly, nobody does anything about it because, well, I mean, it's your lunch. Oh, sorry. I mean, that's your stuff. And you put something in your food that makes that you're not allergic to, the person gets sick, and they end up having to go to the hospital, then that's on them, right? Like, I don't see why you would be personally at fault for that, but then again, you know who the fuck is responsible for it. Like, I don't know.
That's what you get. You fucked around and found out.
Found fuck out. Yeah.
That's what happened. Keep your mouth off of people's stuff. If you hungry, you can come to me and say you ain't got no lunch and you ain't got no lunch money. I'm even gonna split my food with you. Or
oh baby, they ain't doing that.
Or that's just I am like
I love that.
If we cool or something, or I'll give you a couple $1 and you go get you a fucking 4 for 4. But don't steal my shit.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about in terms of being at work. Thankfully, again, my office is small and people don't do that because I wish somebody would steal.
So
my
I told you I
food.
had a story to go with that. So
Yeah, go
back
ahead.
in the day when I was working at one of my previous locations for
Right.
where I work, and we had some kind of event at work, and it was leftover food. So people made plates so the food wouldn't go to
Yeah,
waste.
of course.
One of us accidentally left our plate in the refrigerator. And when we came back the next day, somebody who worked the late shift had eaten off of the plate.
Oh.
Now, mind you, we had wrote our names on the plate so we would know whose was whose
Right.
and all that.
Right. Smart.
And they literally went in, bit into one of the meatballs that was on the plate and took some other stuff off the plate. They bit into the meatball and then left it on the damn plate.
That's disgusting.
And then took some other stuff off the plate, wrapped it back up, put it back in the refrigerator. So I told them it had to be somebody who worked the night shift. It was only a few of them in the building who worked night shift. I said, and y'all better than me because I would have left something in there with laxative in it. And whoever was still in here shitting when we got here at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's who the hell it was. I would have Miralax their asses down. I sure would have. Because stay out my shit. How dare you?
I mean,
If you that hungry, a pack of noodles, 10 cents.
I mean,
Oh, no, they're not no more. They're like 50 cents now, but still, inflation.
right.
But still, stay out of people's stuff. They been stealing people food, frozen stuff out the freezer, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you fucked around and found out now you looking like a blowfish. Girl, fuck you.
Sorry for you. Oh well.
Hey, look, I had Walnut Girl on the list too. Girl, fuck you.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna add Walnut Girl.
Now
Hey.
you looking like Will Smith in Hitched. With your stupid ass.
Is that it?
That is it for this week.
Okay. We had a couple good stories. I think if I can find the second part of the story I told, the first story I told, I'll see if I can circle back at some point. I don't know. Again, when I looked for it initially, they only had the first portion of the story, not the full thing. That was on YouTube. But yeah, so we're going to end it here. This has been a very interesting episode, to say the least. But yeah, if you have any questions for us, any feedback, shoot us an email at askwandapod@gmail.com. That's ASKWANDAPOD@gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen, be it Apple, be it Spotify, Podmatic, YouTube, Spreaker, which is our host, on Facebook. If you see the link, be sure to share it with some friends, repost it on your social media profiles. Should we create an account on Spill?
What spell?
Spill is a new Black-owned social media app.
I like it.
So a few weeks ago, so apparently Elon ain't been paying the bills over at the
Lord,
Twitter.
Fuck him.
They were leasing server space.
Hit him to the list too. I'm sorry. I'm sick of everybody.
Somebody called him an apartheid demon because he's South African, and I was like, you know what?
I'm sorry.
I was like, yeah. So, but no. So, a few weeks ago, apparently Elon Musk hasn't been paying the bills at Twitter, be it for server space or the rent on the building that the company leases in San Francisco. And I think Google was charging Twitter $1 billion to
$1 billion.
Yeah, to host their servers for the system to run off of. And in an effort to save money, Elon Musk and his team decided to pull all of Twitter off of Google's cloud servers and place them on their own servers. Of course, it was running behind schedule. So the weekend prior to the 4th of July, they actually the system crashed. Like Twitter was down worldwide for everybody because they didn't have server capacity to keep up with demand. So when that happened, people started sharing links to a new app, social media app called Spill. I'm on Spill, so if you want to invite, I can get you one. But essentially, it's an alternative to Twitter. It's still in beta phase.
Okay.
But it's Black owned. It was created by 2 Black software engineers who previously worked at Twitter, I believe, who had been fired when Elon came in and slashed more than half of Twitter's staff. But it's for now, it's just a group of just Black people on Twitter who migrated over. It's real interesting. the Shade Room actually got locked and they got booed. People tried to boot them off of Spill.
Chill.
So, but yeah,
okay.
I'll tell you.
Look into it.
Yeah, we'll look into it. But yeah, like I said, thank you all for listening. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe wherever you choose to listen. We are all over the place online. Drop us more feedback, more commentary in our email. Shauna, please check in more than once a quarter.
First of all, fuck you.
Love you too. At askwandapod@gmail.com. That's ASKWANDAPOD@gmail.com. And with that, we thank y'all for watching shit. Oh, Freudian slip. It's going to happen.
It is.
We're going to have a show.
Put it in the universe.
Growth.
Oh, Lord, that mean I got to take my bonnet off?
But you don't, your hair look nice. You don't have one on.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At the shop 5 in the morning and whatnot.
I'm glad I just shaved my shit off because the way I... Thank y'all for listening. We will see y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.